Hey, what's up everybody and welcome back to News Dose. And Sony right now is holding a surprising sale for the PlayStation 5, and I think just because of how this generation has kind of played out thus far. This is a big moment that fans can just kind of rejoice in, especially with the availability. That right there, that really is the big part here, and I think really 2023 in a lot of ways is that step forward that this generation needs. And then we'll also be talking a little bit about Nintendo today, as they just revealed that the Zelda Direct is actually in fact real, and it's upon us almost immediately. So we're going to talk all about that today, plus as usual, plenty more. We always do have lots and lots of things to talk about on this channel. If you are enjoying the video though, do make sure to hit those buttons below. But with that said, let's just go jump right into our first topic of the day, starting off with Resident Evil 4. I'm sure a lot of you all out there have been playing Resident Evil 4 over the weekend, just having a blast with that. It is a fantastic game after all, but it unfortunately has launched with a couple of issues that some fans have run into, one being specifically for the PlayStation 5. We previously talked about how some users noticed the PlayStation 5 version was blurry in the demo, with some users describing the image quality as soft. If anything else, the image quality leaves something to be desired here. Well, unfortunately, Digital Foundry confirmed all those same issues do in fact persist in the full release of the PlayStation 5 version. And there's also another issue that players are kind of running into right now, being a pesky light flickering at the bottom of the screen. Now, some people are kind of running into this issue thinking that there's just a problem with their PlayStation 5 in general, but no, that's not actually the case here. This is a bug in Resident Evil 4. So if you are somebody that's had issues with this particular problem, well, I do actually come bearing good news today, because Capcom is aware of the issue and posted this in response. We're aware of an issue where players may experience flickering lights at the bottom of the screen when playing the PlayStation 5 version of Resident Evil 4. Here are some temporary fixes we recommend. We intend to fix the issue in a future update and apologize for any inconvenience. So, I mean, the good part here is that they do have an update planned. In the meantime, though, if you want to keep playing, you can kind of alleviate the issue by simply setting the depth of field to off, and then just make sure your motion blur is set to on. I mean, it's not necessarily a perfect solution, I do understand that, but it is something that you can temporarily do until an update addresses the problem outright. Hopefully, this will come sooner rather than later, because, I mean, this is just such a beloved game that fans have been waiting on for such a long time. So hopefully Capcom will come out and fix some of the problems with this game promptly and quickly. Now, here's some news that I think a very specific group is going to be just absolutely ecstatic about, and that's the possibility of Skies of Arcadia returning to modern platforms via a remaster. Now, before you jump off your chair, this is not confirmed just yet, so just go and mark this one up as a rumor for the time being. But according to Nick Baker over on the Xbox Era podcast, he claims to have screenshots of a new remastered version of Skies of Arcadia. Now, he didn't exactly elaborate further than that, but interestingly enough, Insider Gaming, well, they also posted an article about this, and they included a supposed screenshot of this claimed remaster themselves. Now, I will go and drop a link in the description below if you're curious, but I mean, Skies of Arcadia, while not a household name per se that everybody will immediately recognize, in certain circles, it is often viewed as one of the all-time greats for the JRPG genre, and actually for a very, very good reason. I'd say, if anything, it was easily one of the best games made for the Sega Dreamcast, and for that matter, also for the Nintendo GameCube as Sega ported it years later. The thing about this game, though, is that, unfortunately, if you do want to play it legitimately now, it's a very hard game to come by at an affordable price. The GameCube version, it goes for like $200 plus, and then for the Dreamcast, it's around $150-ish. So I mean, this is one of those games that sorely needs a remaster to make it more readily available. It's a game that's aged very well, as turn-based RPGs often do, and I think for any fan of JRPGs, they would love, and I mean love, to see Skies of Arcadia on modern platforms. In fact, it was about a year or two back that Sega did actually send a survey out asking fans if they'd like to see a remaster for this game, and that was blowing up online at the time, and well, here we are now. It sounds like that it might actually be happening after all, so I'm just going to cross my fingers and hope this one is true, and hey, let's say it does hypothetically come out. Maybe after all these years, if it has some success this time around, maybe we can, get a sequel. I'm just going to go and throw that out there. Come on, Sega. Let's make this happen. Now, we also got an update for the insane discount that Xbox Game Pass Ultimate offered for the last few years, where new subscribers could get the first month for a grand total of $1. I mean, for one single dollar, you got well over 100 games, including, I'm sure, a few day one releases in any given month. So if there's a new game that just released in the Game Pass, somebody could go out and just subscribe for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and get that for, yes, a single dollar. It was a fantastic, fantastic deal. I mean, you all know how I feel about Game Pass. I think as is, it's already the best deal in gaming, so the fact that you could try it for one single dollar was a pretty insane discount to say the least, but Microsoft has officially moved on from that discount. In a statement made to The Verge, they confirmed this by saying, "We have stopped our previous introductory offer for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass, and are evaluating different marketing promotions for new members in the future." So, I mean, on one side here, it does sound like they have a replacement in plan. Now, what that could possibly be, I'm not exactly sure. Though I do have a feeling one of the reasons they've moved on from this discount is because of how easily it was to abuse. I mean, there were some users out there that was making new accounts every single month just to subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate for $1, and while I imagine that's a rare occurrence, it did still happen. There was also the Xbox Live Gold to Game Pass conversion that, locked it in for like $5 a month for 3 years. As far as I'm aware, that exploit was still a thing, so I'm sure Microsoft is looking to maybe fix some of those issues before going forward. Nonetheless, though, we'll keep an eye out for its replacement for the time being. Now, speaking of discounts, though, this generation just hit a milestone of sorts, or at least when it comes to pricing and supply. One of the major stories of the last few years has been in regards to how difficult it's been to get one of these next generation platforms, especially when it comes to the PlayStation 5. Prior to this year, if you wanted a PlayStation 5 without paying a premium secondhand price, you almost had to exclusively rely on a different alert accounts to notify you that the PlayStation 5 was in stock at an online retailer. And even then, you'd be lucky to get one of these in your cart because they were selling out in mere minutes, if really even that. I mean, sometimes it was just like, poof, they are absolutely gone. It was just this whole big mess for such a long period of time, and that's why today's news is kind of a big deal. The PlayStation 5, for the first time, is receiving an official discount. Yeah, you can go over to PlayStation Direct right now where they're offering the God of War Ragnarok physical bundle for $510. Now, this game typically goes for $70, so that means that you'd be saving $60 with this bundle. And truthfully, I mean, if you're buying a PlayStation 5, I'd kind of consider God of War Ragnarok to be an essential title. It is a great game if you haven't played it already. Easy recommend. Of course, it is on the PlayStation 4 as well, though, so I mean, some PlayStation 4 owners might already have it, but it is still nice to see this bundle get a discount at the very least. Even more so, and here's the big part, is its availability. And this is what really caught my attention. Not only is this discount available on PlayStation Direct from now to April 16th, so it's a pretty long promotion, but on top of that, other retailers have price matched it as well, including Amazon, you have Best Buy, Target, and also Walmart. And here's the thing, in all of these places, the bundle is still in stock and ready to ship, or at least as of this recording. They've been up for a little while now. Hopefully that will continue, but they have been in stock for a good amount of time. So the fact that we've gotten to the point where the PlayStation 5 is readily available, it's not selling out in mere minutes, and it can also be discounted and still be readily available, goes to show you that things have started to normalize this generation, and that is why this is such a huge milestone for this generation. Those days of waiting for a PlayStation 5 stock alert and then complaining about all of the bots that are buying up all of these and the secondhand scalpers, those days are now behind us. In fact, it seems like we're now at that point that they're actually showing up in stores. I mean, it's crazy that we're celebrating this, but that's really just kind of how this generation has gone. The PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X have been difficult to come by. With all that said, though, if you are looking for a PlayStation 5 and if you don't already have God of War Ragnarok, this really is a pretty good discount as you practically get it free alongside a brand new PlayStation 5. So definitely go check it out if you're interested. Now, we also finally got some news for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I think we can safely say there's a little anticipation for this game, but here we are less than 2 months away, and we've seen very little on what this game actually is. It does feel like Nintendo's being more than just a little bit secretive here. More on that here in just a second. But they did finally announce a Zelda Tears of the Kingdom presentation. Yeah, you can actually see here where they made the announcement, and it says, joining the Legend of Zelda series producer, Eiji Aonuma, for roughly 10 minutes of gameplay from the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom on March 28 at 7 a.m. Pacific time on our YouTube channel. Now, this right here, I'd say is both exciting, because yes, we're finally going to see Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and then also a little surprising, and not necessarily surprising in a way that this presentation is somehow unexpected. Most of us, I'd say, was expecting some type of Zelda Direct before its official release. But what's surprising here is the time that they allotted, as it's only roughly 10 minutes long. Now, to be fair, maybe this is not the only presentation that they have planned, but if you compare this to some of their other directs from last year, you had the Splatoon 3 Direct, that was 30 minutes long, and then you had the Xenoblade 3 Direct, and that was 25 minutes long. Both of those games got an extensive overview before their official release. So it is a little bit surprising to see Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, one of Nintendo's biggest releases for this entire generation, easily only get a 10-minute presentation. Now, to be fair, again, this might not necessarily be the only presentation that they have planned. They didn't actually refer to this as a Zelda Direct per se, so maybe, just maybe, they do have more in store. But, and that's the thing, because we do know Nintendo has been a little bit more than secretive when it comes to this game. I mean, at one point, they were even being hesitant to announce its name, as they thought that could contain spoilers. So it does feel like they're being overly cautious, as they want players to be wowed when they play it for the first time themselves, which, I mean, that could be actually viewed as a good thing. A lot of people want to go in completely blind, and that's great. But at the same time, 10 minutes of gameplay can still answer a whole lot, and I still feel like there's a lot of questions to be answered. As an example, will there be dungeons, or instead is it just going to be shrines like Breath of the Wild? If they answer one single thing tomorrow, that's what I want it to be. As popular as Breath of the Wild is, and I mean, I think it's a great game and everything, but I also feel like the lack of dungeons was the one big disappointment with Breath of the Wild. So I'd love to see them answer that question tomorrow. But I mean, the good news here is that we won't have to wait too long to find out ourselves. And if they do have a big update tomorrow, of course, I will come back and let you all know. Let's go take a look at the poll of the day, though, where I asked you all, with the 3DS and Wii U eShops closing today, are you going to pick up any last-minute games? And as you can see here, only 7% of you all are, while 85% said no. But even with just that 7%, that's why I put this poll up in the first place. Really, I just wanted to use this poll as a heads up. That way, if you were interested, you wouldn't forget about it or something like that. That was really the agenda of this specific poll. But yeah, even for myself, I did pick up a game over the weekend. I actually picked up Pokemon Crystal. And the reason I did that is because even though I actually own the cartridge of Pokemon Crystal, but having the 3DS version, I can actually transfer those Pokemon over to Pokebank. So that's why I went ahead and picked up Pokemon Crystal. But yeah, I mean, the 3DS is just such a wonderful console. I think it's such a vastly underrated console. And seeing the eShop close today, I think it's kind of a sad moment in gaming history. I mean, it's bound to happen eventually to all of these digital platforms, but still sad nonetheless. Even for the Wii U, while that might have been one of Nintendo's biggest failures, it's still sad seeing its eShop go away. And for that matter, the Virtual Console on the Wii U is absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, shout out to the 3DS and the Wii U. Anyways, though, that's it for this episode. But if you liked the video, don't forget to bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.